France, May 1940. Blitzkrieg isn't just a tactic, it's theater. Columns of pasted threes and IVs burst from the Ardennes like a steel river. Stukas scream down in diving choruses, and entire towns that withstood months of siege in the Great War fold in hours. French armor is often thicker. French guns are often equal. It does not matter. The German gift is tempo, finding the seam, widening it, then letting panic do the rest. Infantry everywhere learn the same survival rule. When you hear tracks, run. The British Expeditionary Force learns it the hard way. Boys' anti-tank rifles batter shoulders and pride while bouncing off 30mm frontal plates. Towed 2-pounders are lethal when sighted, but they are also obvious, slow to emplace, and the first thing recon and artillery erase. At Dunkirk, Britain saves 338,000 men and leaves almost everything else in the sand. If invasion comes, what stops the next armored spearhead on an English lane? The War Office writes a miserable brief that sounds like wishful thinking. Give a single soldier a weapon he can hide in a hedgerow or a doorway. Let him kill a tank at 100 yards, make it rugged, idiot-proof and cheap, and build it while the factories are already choking on orders for planes, ships and guns. Most answers are either suicidal, sticky bombs, magnetic charges, or impractical, oversized grenades that don't penetrate. Then two lines of thinking collide, the spigot and the shaped charge. The ugly miracle. Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Blacker is an eccentric who loves spigots, launching a bomb over a central rod instead of inside a barrel. That trick frees you to carry a huge warhead on a compact launcher. Pair that with the Monroe effect, a hollow, metal-lined cone that focuses explosive force into a hypersonic jet. And suddenly, penetration no longer needs velocity. If the cone forms correctly, armor loses, no matter how slow the projectile is. Enter the projector, infantry, anti-tank, the PIAT. It looks wrong and works anyway. How it fires, the truth beneath the myth. Inside the tube is a monstrous spring and a steel spigot. Cocking, the PIAT hauls the spigot back under terrifying tension. On firing, the spring drives the spigot forward into the bomb's base, striking a small propellant cartridge inside the bomb. That charge launches the bomb off the spigot, and the brutal recoil slams the spigot backward, recocking the weapon if you held it like you meant it. Spring Plus. In-bomb propellant, crude elegance that saves scarce gunpowder, barrels, and machining. The warhead, a wide 9cm class heat cone with a carefully shaped copper liner. On impact, the explosive collapses that cone into a jet racing at around 8 kilometers a second. Hit near perpendicular, and it bores through 70+ millimeters of plate, laughing at side armor and roof decks. The price? 30+ pounds of iron with the ergonomics of a coal scuttle. Recoil like a mule to the clavicle. A cocking ritual from hell, flat on your back, boots on the shoulder pad, legs and back straining to haul the spring. Miss your hold and you'll be doing it again while someone in a turret is winding a traverse toward your soul. Troops meet it in training with suspicion and dark humor. In combat, they develop something stranger. Respect. Baptism by Fire, Sicily, July 1943. Terraced hills, sun-baked alleys, stone walls that choke roads to single-tank lanes. A PIAT team waits where armor must turn. 40 yards. The bomb arcs like a thrown anvil, bites the Peshwafi's flank and turns steel into smoke. Italian and German reports start sounding surprised. British infantry are not scattering. They are hunting. Across the straits and up the Italian boot, the pattern repeats. Salerno, the Volturno, Cassino. A corporal on an upper floor angles a shot down onto a Stooge's engine deck and lights it like a brazier. The Wehrmacht's answer is caution. More infantry screens, more reconnaissance, more artillery prep, each a drag on the speed that made Blitzkrieg bite. But the real proving ground is still to come. Normandy, where the myth dies, June 1944. The bocage is a maze. Tiny fields boxed by ancient earthen banks, hedges thick as walls, sunken lanes that trap vehicles in green corridors. Visibility 50 to 100 yards. It is PIAT country. Tactics that work. Put teams where tanks must show their flanks. Corners, gateways, lane bends, any spot that forces a turn. Fire from basements and first floors. Aim for tracks, then the engine deck or the side under the turret ring. Hold your shot until the angle is clean and the target is slow, even if that means watching a panther's nose fill your world. Ranges that matter. Manuals whisper 100 yards. Veterans mutter 30 to 50. Past 75, you're lobbing hope. At 40, you're dealing uncertainty and terror. Operation Epsom, late June. A drainage ditch becomes a fortress. One sergeant kills a PIAT 4 with a side shot, then nails the second as it panics and shows its rear. Operation Charnwood, early July. Panthers try to bully into Caen's outskirts and find the hedges bite back. Hill 112. Dug-in companies brace while Panthers roll toward them like inevitability. 3 PIAT teams in overlapping arcs, 50 to 75 yards. 1 kill, 2 big cats reverse rather than press without cleared flanks. The infantry holds. Not every story ends with a blackened wreck. At Villers-Bocage, even a tiger forced to flinch by a point-blank PIAT shot is a moral victory. Proof that nothing is invulnerable, that aggression can be blunted by nerve and 9 centimeters of shaped copper. By mid-July, platoon commanders slot PIATs like machine gun teams. Keyholes, chicanes, bends, ambush geometry baked into the plan. German armor arrives slower, with more infantry, more smoke, more pause and probe. The tempo that shattered France now bogs in every green alley. What it felt like. Operating a PIAT is part marksmanship, part weightlifting, part fatalism. You fire. If recoil recocks, you're blessed. If not, you're on your back, boots on butt pad, hauling a spring that feels like a man-trap, while a turret traverses toward the muzzle flash. Your loader, your lifeline, shoves another 3-pound bomb into the tray, fin first, aligns the primer cup, hisses, ready. Your shoulder is one purple bruise, your hands shake, your world shrinks to angle and arc. Most kills happen inside 50 yards. That's a 10-second problem at 15 miles per hour. The bomb wants 90 degrees, the cat wants your blood. You wait for the turn, the stall, the track bite. Now, and take the shot that decides whether anyone writes a report. The ledger is honest. For every triumph, there's a team killed by cokes after a miss, a position crushed under track, a hero caught by mortars after the first flare of success. The PIAT gives you a chance, not a promise. But a chance is infinitely more than nothing. Wyatt bent the war psychology first. In 1940, tanks mean run. By 1944, a lance corporal with a PIAT hears tracks and thinks in geometry. Approach routes, turn points, fields of fire, loader positions. Morale is math. Agency adds numbers. Units that once collapsed in the face of armor now plan to ambush it. Operationally, the PIAT and its cousins force German armor to behave like infantry, slow, cautious, dependent. Every corner might hold doom. Recon must be thorough. Assaults need screens. Assaults with screens need time. Time is what Blitzkrieg never wanted to spend. Technically, the PIAT proves 3 enduring truths. Velocity isn't everything. Heat makes speed optional. Angle and placement rule. Hidden beats heavy in close terrain. A cheap, silent, disposable ambush hidden in a hedge can cost you a panther. Logistics are destiny. No barrels to machine. Springs and stampings any shop can make. Bombs you can stack by the dozen. In a total war economy, simplicity is a weapon. Numbers that don't make the books. The PIAT's official body count is incomplete. Combat is chaos and records get buried with their authors. Conservative tallies say hundreds of German armored vehicles disabled or destroyed across Sicily, Italy, Normandy, the Low Countries, and northwest Europe from 1943 to victory. The invisible number is larger. The attacks not pressed, the lanes not taken, the hours bled away because every hedgerow might cough a shaped charge into your ribs. Those are victories too. The weapon's second life. No poster boy glamour, no sleek lines. Ask anyone who carried one and you'll hear profanity and affection in equal measures. By the early 50s, the PIAT yields to cleaner solutions. American bazookas, then British Energa rifle grenades, soon true rockets and guided missiles. But its DNA travels well. The idea that a single soldier can threaten a main battle tank becomes standard. Rocket-propelled grenades and modern infantry ATGMs owe their battlefield philosophy to the spigot and heat marriage. Urban and close terrain doctrine globalizes. Armor does not go anywhere without infantry, smoke, reconnaissance, and a plan for every window. The lesson Britain in 1940 was humiliated and armed with fairy tales. 4 years later, British line companies were standing up to SS Panzer divisions in alleys and lanes, not because they loved pain or had better tanks, but because they'd been handed an ugly, ingenious tool and the training and nerve to use it. The PIAT was not the best anti-tank weapon of the war. The Panzerfaust was simpler, the bazooka more forgiving. But the PIAT was Britain's answer, born of scarcity and stubbornness, and it worked where it mattered most, inside 50 yards, behind a hedge, with a loader at your elbow and a tank's breath on your face. The Germans expected British infantry to run. Instead, they heard a clunk, saw a squat bar mark from a hedge, and learned that fear had changed sides.